Hello, welcome back to Three Boys, Two Girls. My name is Ashley, and today I have some third grade curriculum for you. So every morning we are going to start off with a morning basket, and if you've ever heard of Julie Bogart or Brave Writer material, that's basically what we're following. And so what the Brave Writer is, or what the morning basket is it's basically, the idea is just reading a little bit of a variety of things. So she will do stuff like an Aesop's Fable, or some art appreciation, some nonfiction, some sort of nonfiction in there, as well as whatever read aloud story that they're doing, or poetry, or something like that. So we're going to be doing that, and we will also be incorporating our devotion. And so our morning devotional, we are going to use Jesus Calling. This is the kids one. I actually have the adult one, which I love, and my husband loves it too. We both, no matter where you are and your walk in life, it just applies to you so well. So this is what we start our day off with. Then we are going to do some just reading out of the Bible. So she has her Bible that she's going to use. And then this is a supplement to that. It's called Route 66. And basically it's a trip through the 66 books of the Bible. And it's just supplemental stuff. So it is, let's see if I can find a page here. So it's word finds or crossword puzzles, and some of them are just question and answer stuff. So we'll just use that along with our reading. And then we are going to do our core subjects together are going to be history, science, and art. And so for our history, we are going to do Story of the World. And so we're going to do the first one. It's volume 1, Ancient Times, and this spans from the earliest nomads to the last Roman Empire. And this is the actual text for the program. What you do is you would read a chapter over a week, and the chapters are divided up into sections. So you can see that's the section line there. Let's see if I can find where it goes to. Oh, this is just one section, and then it starts a new chapter. But most chapters about 2 or 3 sections. So over the week you would read the sections, and then at the end you would do some sort of project when you've completed the chapter. But after each section, you would go into your student workbook, or I should say activity book. This actually has the teacher materials as well as student reproducibles in this one book. So the first part of it is the teacher part. So for instance, here's chapter 1. And after the first section of chapter 1, there's going to be review questions, and then they have a narration exercise. So basically you just ask the kids to tell you back in a couple sentences what you basically just read. The older kids can go ahead and write this down. The younger kids just can do it verbally. And then we move on to the next section. So the next section has review questions and then the narration exercise. There are also some additional history reading as well as corresponding literature suggestions. And so you can just go to the library like a couple weeks before your lesson and pick out all the books that you're going to need or not. It really is up to you. And then after the chapter's over, there's map work that goes along with it, coloring pages, and activity projects. So in the back is all of the map work and coloring pages, and that you can copy off for each one of your children and just have them work on that at the end of the chapter. So our plan with this is doing this probably twice a week, and maybe 3 times if you count the activity in there as well. So we're going to do that together. Here's some of the examples of the corresponding materials. So this is the Kingfisher History Encyclopedia, and I got this used, so it was at a discounted price. And these are just some pictures. I don't know if you can see on there very well, but I also got the illustrated history of the world, and I got this one because I got it at a really good deal. It was like $10 or something like that for this giant book. Now, it is copyrighted in 1992, so it's a little old, but I don't think ancient history has changed that much in 20 years, so we'll probably be okay using it for just our ancient history lesson. Now, my friend is an Usborne consultant, and she was getting rid of some of her inventory, and so she had the Encyclopedia of the Ancient World, and so she gave this to me at a discounted price as well. So I just picked this up, and I love Usborne's illustrations, so I thought this would be great to look through, maybe even in our morning basket or something like that. So that's history. The next thing that we will be doing together is science, and we are doing Science in the Beginning. This is by Dr. J. Wild, and from what I understand, he is the creator of Apologia. And so when he did Apologia, he created it as 1 year you'd be working on astronomy, 1 year you'd be working on botany, 1 year flying creatures, 1 year swimming creatures. And so when he designed this text, he designed this, it's a series. This one is in the beginning, so this goes over the creation days. And then I believe the next one is science in the ancient times, which probably would have fit better with my history curriculum, but I don't know, we started at the beginning, I guess, with the science. So, but this science experiments are relevant to the science that was around during the creation days, basically. Every lesson is in a science experiment, which my kids love the science experiments. That's the best part. So they're really excited about that. But how this works is you can do this every other day and you will get through the whole book, or you can do this twice a week and you will leave out the challenge lessons, which are referred to in the red text. So that's what we're gonna do. We'll probably do this twice a week. If the kids really wanna do it, we can maybe do it a third day, but plan is just twice a week. This book is great at getting you prepared. It has a list of experiment supplies, and it has a list of things like that are going to take a longer time to get. So stuff like iodine or a bird's feather or a live earthworm. It gives you a little bit of time to find those. But then it has the supplies divided up into the first day of creation, the second day of creation, and so on. So you know exactly what you're getting into. Along with this text, we have the helps and hints. And again, this is just a little bit more of a reference than what you would get in the text. And it also comes with the tests. So if you are homeschooling in a state that requires you to turn in work, these would be great, or turn in grades or anything like that. We are lucky enough that we do not have to do that in our state, so I'm really excited about that. So that was science. The next thing that we'll be doing together is art, and we are doing artistic pursuits. Now this is for my kindergartner and third grader. This is the early elementary book 1, K through 3, and this is an introduction to the visual arts. So there are 36 lessons in this book, so we're gonna be doing 1 lesson a week. So here's an example of a lesson. It starts off with what artists do. This is lesson 1. So it basically says what the artists, they do music, dance, theater, visual arts. They're all part of what we call the arts. And so then we can talk about things that they've done that are considered arts. And then we will look at a famous painting. So this is the 17th century Netherlands. We'll discuss the painting, look at the colors. Well, there's a little spot, you read this to your child. And then you ask them questions like, what's hanging on the window shutter, and what does she have in her lap? Or thought-provoking questions like, what do you think these guys are talking about? Or anything like that. And then the kids will get to try it themselves. So this says up here, you just looked at a picture of a home in 1658. This scene could have happened on any day. Paint a picture of something that you see today in your home. So it also teaches them media. So they're going to be using watercolor crayons. So they're going to color the picture in watercolor crayons, and then they're going to paint over it with water. And it has painting tips down here, like do this, don't do this. And so it just encourages creativity as well as teaching them the basic techniques. So I'm excited about this. My 5th grader does have an upper elementary one of the same artistic pursuits, but just the kindergarten and 3rd grader are going to do this book. On Fridays, we're going to do a little bit different stuff. We're still going to do our core stuff, math and language arts, but we're going to do another Julie Bogart thing, which is poetry tea time. And so basically you just have some tea and treats or milk and cookies, or just make it fun, set a nice table, and then read poetry together. And it's just encourages the kids to find poetry interesting and fun and not in a stressful school sort of way. So along those lines, on Fridays, either during poetry tea time or afterwards or sometime, we're going to do some creative writing. And we are going to use story starters as our springboard for creative writing. I love this book. I'm super excited to use it, actually. What it is inside there are stories. This is actually a long one. Most of them aren't this long, but it's a story that's basically unfinished. So you read the story. Let's find a shorter one for an example. Okay, so read the story. It's only this long. And then there's always a picture. Every story has a picture that goes with it to help spark their imagination. So when we read the beginning of the story, and then it's up to them to finish it. So how this is going to work in our family is we will probably just read it and then discuss as a family what some possible endings to the story could be. And then I'll send my older 2 off to write in their creative writing journals their ending of the story. And it does have some writing help tips to go along with it, as well as an additional challenge. If you have some older students that need a little bit more challenge, they can do that as well. So I'm really excited about this. And so that's pretty much everything that she is going to do together as a family. And so her 2 independent subjects, language arts and math. And so for math, we're going to do Matthew C. And she is going to do beta this year. And so if you haven't heard of Matthew C before, it is a mastery program. So what that basically means is that we're going to be working on one idea the entire year. So beta deals with multiple digit addition and subtraction, and that's what she's going to be working on the entire year. This, if you were to start the primer in kindergarten and then do alpha in 1st grade, this is technically a 2nd grade text, but the truth is that she is having trouble with her subtraction, mostly just the borrowing. I think that was just kind of, they learned it at the end of the year and she just didn't quite have it mastered yet. So we're going to start here. She will probably fly through the beginning of this with the addition pretty quickly, which is fine. Because how this program works is it is divided up into lessons, and the lessons are divided up into like A, B, C, D, all the way through G. So on the first day of the lesson, you are going to watch the DVD instruction, or if you would like to go through the teacher's manual and teach the lesson to your child, from what I understand, the teacher's manual and DVD are pretty interchangeable. For our family of 5, we're doing the DVD. So she will watch the DVD and then she will do lesson 1A worksheet. Then the next day she'll do the lesson 1B worksheet, and then the next day 1C. Those are the lesson practices. Now, when you get to the D worksheet, it's the systematic review. So you're going to be reviewing previous lessons. So if your student has mastered this lesson and everything leading up to that, then you can skip D, E, and F. And then lesson G is the application and enrichment. And these things are really fun. So she might still do these. If not, if she doesn't want to do it, I'm not going to make her, and she can skip it. as you can see, these first couple are pretty easy. I think that she's gonna have no trouble just writing, writing the numbers down. So like I said, she'll probably fly through the beginning of this book pretty quickly, which is fine. So hopefully by Christmas we'll be done with this or close to, and then she can move on to Gamma. But there are some tests that go with it. They have a test booklet that you do get with it as well. So like I said, if you're in a state that requires you to turn in grades and testing, then this would be great for you. I'm not too worried about it, so I don't know if we'll use those or not, but that is math. And then the last thing is language arts. So for handwriting, we are going to do The Rhythm of Handwriting by Logic of English. And this is just learning cursive. And third grade is when they teach cursive in our public school, and so she has not learned it yet, and so she will be learning it this year. The next thing we are going to do is grammar. This is kind of, her language arts curriculum actually has grammar in it, so this was just kind of something extra. My son actually is in 5th grade and he's doing this, and so I just got an extra workbook for her. I thought maybe they could work on it together. We'll see. If there's something, if she's overworked and there's something that's got to give, it'll be this. But I love the idea of this program. So Fix It Grammar, this one is the Nose Tree. It's book 1, and this is the student text. And so how this works is every week there will be a lesson that you teach for certain parts of grammar, clauses and that kind of stuff. So you'll read that on day 1. And then they will go to their workbook and they have a sentence for 4 days. So what they're going to do is they're going to grammatically correct this sentence. And there's bolded words in there that you can see. Those are the vocabulary words. So after they've corrected this with the corrections that you've gone over for that week, then they take that bolded word, and there's only one a day. They take that bolded word and they go and they write it down in a notebook, and then they look up the definition in a dictionary, and then they take the sentence that they have fixed and they rewrite it also in a notebook correctly. So by the end of this book, they will have corrected, edited, and rewritten the entire book of the Nose Tree. So I think that's pretty cool. I think that it would be really neat to have a book that you've kind of rewritten and corrected. So, but like I said, if it's too much, we will wait with this. This doesn't have to be done this year. It's just kind of, we just did it because Big Brother did it. So the last curriculum is the English language arts. So we are doing for her essentials. Logic of English has a foundations program that we are going to be using with my kindergartner, and then this program is pretty much for struggling or reluctant readers. And if you saw my Why We Homeschool video, which I think I know how to link something in the comments, I will put it down there. But basically the reason that we are homeschooling is because my daughter was a struggling reader in public school. And so this was an investment. This was probably my most expensive purchase by far. And so my reasoning was, though, that if I'm going to spend my money somewhere, I mean, this would be the place to spend it, is to help her get her confidence back in reading and all that kind of stuff. But I love how this program is set up. I've done a lot of research on it, and it is set up and it's based on phonograms. So it's actually teaching the child how to read and not just sight words. And so you will notice that if your child has learned sight words, you'll notice a lot of times when they're reading that they will just see a word and start to guess, because a lot of times they're taught to guess the word based on the content around it, and they're not taught to actually sound out the word, and it did not work for her. So this program is actually going to teach her the correct phonograms and how to actually sound out the words, and how all of the rules of English, there are rules of English. I think that most of us have been told that, oh, that word just doesn't follow the rules, and that's not true actually. It's a different rule. So this is really in depth. It's intense. I think it's like 40 minutes a day, 5 days a week. I mean, this is gonna be a serious program. Now, you can go faster or slower. And so if I'm pushing her too hard, we will definitely slow down and not push her. I mean, my goal for this year, for our first year of homeschooling, is to just develop a love of reading for her and a confidence in reading for her. And so I'm hoping that this program does it. So this is the student text, and then this is the teacher guide, volume 1. I mean, this is a hefty book, and this is just the first semester. So there's another book that they actually have not finished yet that will be considered the second half. But this program can be reused for 3 years. So you will see on the inside. Let's see if I can find a good example. So let's look at a lesson. Let's look at lesson 5. All right. So lesson 5 will tell you exactly what you're going to need up here. And it does come with everything you need when you buy the package. It comes with the teacher's manual, the student workbook. It comes with a spelling journal, spelling rule flashcards, morpheme flashcards, advanced phonogram flashcards, grammar flashcards, some phonogram game tiles, basic phonogram flashcards, and then 2 decks of phonogram game cards, and then there's cursive and book face. So, in this, when it says what you need, you will see that it says level C up there. We'll need those. So level C is the 3rd year. So if you have a struggling reader, I would suggest starting on level A, and then it'll tell you what you need there. So it also, you can see right here, I don't know if you can tell, it says all. That means that this is something that everyone will be doing. So there's a spelling rule in there. And then it's got teacher tips, handwriting things. Let's see if it gives. So these are things that everyone does, all. And then, let's see if it breaks up here. So there was like 6 pages there on just day 1. And so here's day 2. This is where we start learning our spelling words. And so here you go. Here's the spelling list. So you can see this is the spelling list for A. So the level A. This is the spelling list. It's that page, those pages. And then we have spelling list B, or those pages, and then spelling list C. So you can definitely use this for 2 of your children who, are at different levels. One can start on A and one can be on C. It's totally up to you. All right. But another thing that I love about how this program is set up is when it goes through the phonograms, like for instance, S, phonogram S, it's S and Z. You can see it has the Z there. Because a lot of kids, when you put something like, when you put an S at the end of a sentence, a lot of times it does make the Z sound. And so children, like as in as, for instance, would pronounce that probably with an S sound instead of a Z sound. So I love how it gives every sound that every phonogram makes. It really teaches the kids that there are rules for everything in English, and it simplifies learning. So I'm excited about this. I'm hoping that it just encourages her to be confident and to know that she can do it. There is a reader that goes along with the Logic of English. There's like a reader program. It's a whole nother curriculum. I chose not to get it. For right now, we have a library that we've stocked up pretty well, actually. And so we are gonna just read some books from our library with her and not worry about spending more money at this point. So for her free reading or readers, I had picked out a couple books for her to just try to get through. And I thought that I would start with books that are kind of below her level, like for instance, the Magic Treehouse books. These are really kind of like a second grade level. I mean, the text is pretty big. There's lots of pictures in there. And so this will really just help encourage her and really build up her confidence to know that she can read books. It's a nice accomplishment when you read a book. Even as an adult, when I finish a book, I'm like, I finished a book. So those, and then this is Heidi Heckelbeck. We have 5 books from the Heidi Heckelbeck series. And again, big words, lots of pictures. This is how I divide them up. I usually just put the day down and then put how many pages I want her to read through there. So these would be good. She's really excited about those. She actually asked me to buy those, so I know that she'll be excited to read those. The next up is some Little House readers. We have a lot of Little House on the Prairie and stuff. Our last name is actually Ingalls, and we live in South Dakota, and the homestead in DeSmet is like an hour and a half or something from our house. So we like Laura Ingalls Wilder in our house for sure. So we have Little House in the Big Woods. We have a Little House Reader, which is like a collection of stories that Laura Ingalls Wilder wrote before she even started the Big House, or the Little House in the Big Woods series. And then this is the first 4 years. This is actually after the series, but she wanted it in there because it's new. We just got it at a thrift store. She also picked out The Time Machine, H.G. Wells, and again, big font and lots of pictures because of Winn-Dixie, Half Magic, Stone Fox, The Tiger Rising, Mud Shark, Justin Morgan Had a Horse, and this one, this one is pretty, this one will be a goal to reach up to by the end of the year, I think, to be able to read this. And then The Best Christmas Pageant Ever, which I think is pretty big font too, but by no means do I expect her to read all of these next year. I just want her reading. So honestly, when she saw that I was picking up books, she ran around and she just totally added to the shelf. She put a lot of like Junie B. Jones in there that we have. And honestly, if she reads Junie B. Jones all year, I'm going to be happy as long as she's reading and she's enjoying it. That's really all that matters. So even if the books aren't at her level, aren't on her grade level, they're below, it doesn't matter as long as she's developing that love of reading. So these are suggestions that I've had. I'm going to try to push her to get some literature in there at least, rather than just some, fun books. But anyway, that is all I have for you guys today. Thanks for being troopers and sticking through to the end of the video. I should have the other grades up here. Hopefully this week I can get some stuff done. So thanks for watching, everybody.